Hi everybody, this is Kiefer from dangerouslyhardcore.com, and today I'm actually going to give you a little bit of a training tip and talk about something that's ignored quite often, and I don't know why, because it's probably the most important part of the repetition and maybe even your entire workout that you're probably ignoring. But first I wanted to talk about half reps, and later we'll come back to why that's important, the stretch shorten cycle. And half reps, you see them all the time in the gym, especially they're becoming popular with CrossFitters because they can't bench press. And for those of you who don't know, CrossFit actually has powerlifting competitions now, and instead of the bench press, they've replaced it with the push press because you can cheat on the push press, which is far more impressive obviously than getting strong. But anyway, you'll see the half reps all the time. People just come from here and up, halfway down, all the way up. Now, that is okay for strength, although it is very poor for both power production and hypertrophy. It's almost a waste of time. You will get strength if you train for hypertrophy and power. You will not necessarily get hypertrophy if you train for strength. So what you actually want to do is focus on, if you're going to do half reps, they're not a bad idea, but you want to focus on the lower part of the movement. And that's because you go through what's called a stretch shorten cycle. So as you come down, and I'm just demonstrating for the bench press, obviously not in the right orientation. As you come down, the muscle stretches, and then you hit your chest, and then you shorten as you contract. That's why it's called the stretch shorten cycle. It turns out, and a lot of recent research is showing how important that tiny amount of motion is, and that's actually one of the principles that I use in the shockwave protocol, is you're accentuating the stretch shorten cycle. And depending on what you do in that stretch shorten cycle, for example, if you do a pause press, if you go through it rapidly, if you do quick turnarounds, that can determine how big you can get, the potential for hypertrophy, and your power production. So if you're going to do half reps, don't do them this way. I mean, it's basically a waste of your time unless you have some very specific goal. If you're going to do half reps, do them through the stretch shorten cycle, and this would include biceps. You see people do bicep curls all the time like this. Well, guess what? They don't get bigger year after year because they're never going into the cycle that makes them bigger. And we have some video demonstrations here of the improper half reps that are totally useless, and then the useful half reps that come after. Now, before somebody makes a stupid comment, which they always do on these videos, I think it's just part of the internet culture, power lifters have a very distinct and different goal, and you'll see them use boards all the time in their training, specifically the upper range of the movement. Well, if you know anything about bench shirts or the mechanics of an equipped meet, then you'll know why they do this. And we can talk about that in another video, and I'll probably have somebody address that who's far more competent than I am with the use of equipment. Alright, that's all from dangerouslyhardcore.com, and I hope you found this tip useful, and we'll see you later.